For part 3 of our learning this week, I want to just put in a warning that you should have already completed part 1 and part 2 if you're ready to start part 3. But this will give you a little bit more of an overview if you're someone that likes to hear the whole picture before you get started. For part 3 of your module for week 6, I've created a plan your own adventure type of learning. This is where we're really going to dig in deep to your learning about IEPs. So I'm hoping that the chapter and videos you engaged with for part 1 and the IEP overview project, the Kent ISD rubric, give you an overall view of the IEP, but also give you a little bit more of your needs for learning about the IEP. Because in part 3, I'm going to ask you to make some choices, write a PLAP for yourself, create your own learning plan, and dig in. No content for me this week. We're going to these deep, rich resources. So what you need to make sure that you do now is get into our discussion board and write a PLAP for yourself. Write a present level statement for yourself about IEPs. You could include your role right now in IEPs. You could include your experience in IEPs. I'm looking for just a paragraph or so, a real true PLAP that describes where you are now and what your needs are. I have included a sample for this week in our discussion boards. After you're done with that, click through the rest of these slides. They are blue and green and yellow because there's a lot of them, but you don't need to interact heavily with all of them. The blue slides are all of the modules that you can choose from this week. There are 4 that you can choose from. You may choose any of the 4 options. The first 2 are from Michigan Department of Education and Michigan Virtual. You must select 2 of the modules within those. The second is from the Iris Center, and that's a complete module that stands on its own. And the third is from TIES. You can dig into that a little bit more. That's a lot more reading and writing and responding, and that's its own module also. You're only going to choose one of those modules to do. After that, you're going to look at the green slides and review and dig in a little bit with all the resources that are out there. I have some really rich and important resources out there, some of which are from parents or for parents. But I have the Promoting Progress IEP tip sheets. There are 10, all based on different parts of the IEP. I have the Kent ISD Parents Guide to Navigating an IEP, and I've given you a range of pages from the table of contents. And then the Parent Center Hub, it takes a close look at the sections of the IEP. Now, when I give you the choices of these resources, you don't have to read and go through and cite and understand the whole resource. I want you to go through and pick any 2 sections from any of those resources that directly address your learning needs. So for example, if you have never attended and you have no idea what a transition IEP is for our students who are going to be 16 during their IEP year or they're older, I would dig into those resources and include that in your learning plan. Even if you teach 1st and 2nd grade, it's kind of important that you might know where that's headed. If you're really struggling with writing IEP goals, there are tons of resources built into that can help you clarify and know more about IEP goals, especially in the MDE and Michigan Virtual modules. If you're someone struggling with how to make sure your student is included in state, district, and classroom assessments, there's huge sections on assessments in all of those modules and resources. So this is also the second thing you're going to do in discussion board this week. You're going to go ahead and first, your initial post is to do your own PLAP statement. Then you're going to respond to your own post and tell me, all of us, what resources you're going to choose. Remember, you choose 1 module set and 2 written resources. And then after you engage with all of those, I'm asking you to sum up your learning in a 3rd response to your own initial post. You'll be on there 3 times and sum it up and tell us, what was your deep dive into IEPs, modules, and resources? What did you learn? How did you take care of your PLAF? How did you take care of your own learning? You're going to give us an outline here in our discussion board this week, and then you're going to present that at our IEP Zoom later on in October. That gives you an overview of part 3. This is where it gets a little complicated because I'm asking you to self-reflect. I'm asking you to decide your own learning. If you have any struggles with this, please don't struggle long. Shoot me an email and I'd be happy to Zoom or walk you through this with a phone call. It would probably be pretty easy if we were both looking at computer screens. Good luck, choose your own adventure, and dig into your learning.